welcome to another episode of Senior Travel Adventures. This time around, we're going to have some really great interviews, some wonderful pictures that we're going to share from all over the world. So please stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Are you looking to boost your financial knowledge in a friendly, relaxed setting? Join us at the Financial Forum Club, where we tackle important money matters together. The second Thursday of every month from 3 to 5 p.m. in Clubhouse 7. No RSVP is required. Come to learn, share, or just listen. Coffee and cookies are on us. The Financial Forum Club, your community, your future, your financial education.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Senior Travel Adventures. I am excited today to have on my show Joy Fox. She has been traveling solo for over 60 years, I think, and I'm going to let her tell some of her story to the audience, but she is an amazing person. She's been interviewed in global publications, BBC. She recently won an award from an organization called Journeywoman, which is how I found out about Joy, where they honored her with one of their awards for helping encourage our solo female travelers over 50 to take those trips, just like I do. So Joy, thank you so much for coming today. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, Debbie.
Yes. So it sounds like, from what I've read, you started traveling in the late 1950s on your own?
Mid-1950s, 1956 was the whole drama thing about being dumped and selling the ring and deciding that I need a little holiday in Italy. And the way it all worked out was so wonderful. And I kept every photograph from that trip because it was, I don't know, it was so wonderful to get my confidence back. And that was the amazing thing about it. I came back after 2 weeks and I thought, okay, I'm okay. Now I've done that and I can move on from there. I felt 100% better. So it was a wonderful trip.
Right. So you got dumped and you just said, I'm not going to take this. I'm going to go out and have some fun. And you did, and it changed things for you. So how many trips do you think you've been on?
When you asked me that question, when you put it in the email, I thought, oh my God, how many are there? And I went back to day one. The first one was 1956. And I went through all the years and noted them all down. And I got up to about 75.
Wow.
And there may be other things I did for a weekend that I haven't got any of this written down, over the years. Once in a while, there's when I've taken a trip, I've written about it. But these little, when you go away for a weekend and you discover another part of the area that you're living in, I didn't really put any of those down. But let's say 75.
So was there anything, as you were recollecting this, was there anything you had forgotten about and thought, wow, that was a great trip?
Well, there was a few. I remember taking off from Victoria over to, excuse me, I'm a little hoarse today, over to the Sunshine Coast because there was some artistic thing going on there and something I wanted to learn. It was called Pavapal, to make statues for the garden. And I thought, oh, I can do that. So I got the ferry and went over, and it was really wonderful. I found the whole Sunshine Coast so beautiful. All of BC is beautiful and all the coastlines, but I learned something different and came back and applied it, and so that was a lovely trip. But things like that, I had forgotten about that. I'd forgotten about the fact that I also got the ferry out of Sydney and went down and explored Laguna and Whidbey Island and went and took a trip up to Seattle. And I hadn't really counted those because those were just little, like, I thought, well, I need a couple of days, to do something. Right. There may be other things like that. Maybe I went, to a knitting event and haven't put it down. I can't recall everything, but
right. Well, I hope that it actually helped you. Maybe you should write a book about all of this.
Well, I'm definitely going to make a list and go through what I have written down and make sure it's recorded because a lot of people have asked me that same question. Where did you go and how? And a lot of trips I took with my husband when I met him in Vancouver. And we traveled together quite a bit, but then he was traveling for 39 years with his company. And he went all over the world. So he wasn't really interested in coming on my little trips or going anywhere that he didn't want to go again. Uh,
Right.
so there was lots of things I did on my own while he was traveling, but not while the children were very small, but when they were big enough. Yeah, we went together and took them on trips, to Florida and Cape Cod and places like that, to England several times and the Maritimes. So those were trips, family trips.
Right, right.
Were in there.
Well, and I do want to mention to my audience, because I've neglected this early on, that Joy lives in Vancouver, so that when she's
On the
talking about
island.
the
Not
Sunshine
not
Coast,
not in Vancouver. I'm on Vancouver Island.
Vancouver Island.
Yes.
Yes,
It's
Vancouver
separate.
Island,
Yeah.
not Vancouver. So of all those trips, I know you recollected some things. Was there what was your favorite trip? Do you have a favorite trip, or you just have lots of favorite trips?
Well, I think the one that probably meant the most to me was when I turned 65 and decided to go back to retrace my steps from birth all the way to immigration through the war years and every place we were evacuated to. That really meant a great deal to me. Came back and because there was a sense of shame about being poor, and being an evacuee and poorly dressed and all of that drama, as a child. But after I came back and I looked at it, I went to Scotland first and I was able to see the exact barracks where I was born. And then I worked my way down England, every single place that we'd lived. And
Oh,
yeah, and met people from my school. When I got down to Colchester, there happened to be a big reunion going on of one of my classes. So I joined that and then went to a party the next day and met the boy that I'd fallen in love with at 7 years old at school, So I've got a lovely picture of us together. We were both 65, at that time. So that really meant a lot to me, that trip, to put it behind me, you know?
yeah. Oh,
And yeah.
no, that's amazing. I mean, you do have, and we didn't get into all of the detail here, but you have some amazing stories about wartime and things that happened to you. Do you think, because we're here encouraging the solo travel, do
Mhm.
you have a piece of advice that you would give a solo traveler that's either apprehensive about going or some words of wisdom?
Well, everybody has to start somewhere, but there's certainly a lot more women who are definitely interested in, a lot of women are widows, or maybe they're divorced, or the family's grown and they want to they want to go out and find out what they're capable of. And, because you're responsible for everything when you're on around on a trip. So my first advice would be to say, start locally and work your way out. Go for a weekend that's not too far away in a nice hotel. Go and have a spa visit or go shopping in a different town and get used to eating out alone, because dining alone it seems to be a big
Yeah.
stopping point for women, because sometimes they're treated badly. I have been a couple of times, and but I just shake my shoulders and go somewhere else. I'm not gonna get into an argument about it, but normally I'm treated pretty good because I just say, I have a table. Could I have one by the window? And but it takes a while to stand up for yourself.
Right.
They'll put you by the kitchen or say, "Oh, sit at the bar," but
At the back, right?
you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that.
You
But
don't, and you mentioned that, and that reminded me of something. I had gone, I was in London and I was at Covent Garden and I was looking for somewhere to eat, and I went to a place and they put me in this tiny little room with like two other people were in there, and I said, no, 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 no. And don't you have something that's out in a nicer location? And they pretty much ignored me. So I just left.
yeah,
I left and I went somewhere where I had a lovely table where they took care of me. And I think with the amount of women traveling solo now, it's such a growing area. I think that some places you travel, they're more respectful of this now. They're
Yeah,
not, but it
you
still
know,
does happen.
it's true. It does happen,
And
but
I think it scares people. I think that, I participate a lot with social media groups that are solo women, and, that does happen. And people get frustrated and they get scared, and then they start to lose their confidence. And that's
yeah.
sad.
It is a big one, but I would just say to people, start eating out locally, go out for breakfast, on a regular basis, or, pop in for the local hotel and have appies and wine at a certain time. And, ask, well, we've got a beautiful hotel here. It overlooks Parksville Beach. So it's wonderful to have a window and, watch the tide going in and out. So we always say, sit us near the window, please. And they do. I mean, they're very helpful that way. But I often pop in on my own and say, you can sit me in the lower end. I don't mind as long as I'm by a window. But
Right.
yeah, but I would start, eating out on a regular basis on your own to get used to what you're comfortable with and what you're comfortable asking for as well, and what you
Right.
want, and being comfortable to say, no, I don't want to sit near the kitchen, thank you very much, or near the toilets. Yes, that's good. But
That's another one.
a little bit of confidence up, but because I'm nearly 90 this year, I don't worry about it anymore. I think, well, if they won't give me a decent seat, I'll go somewhere that will. So
You brought up something I had read too. Somebody was asking about going on a trip and what shoes should they wear? And I thought and I actually answered and I said, no one cares what shoes you wear. Wear the shoes you want to wear.
well, the ones that are most comfortable for you.
Yeah.
And
It's like,
depending on where you're going to be walking, if you've got, like in Europe, there's so many cobblestones,
oh
and
yeah.
you got to think about it. Have I got to drag my suitcase over those cobblestones? I mean, I've got some very strong boots because I like to support my ankles as well. And I don't do a lot of hiking anymore, but I did. I've hiked a bit. So I've always had very good, comfortable shoes, and, wear them in at home. Don't wear new ones.
Oh, I know. It's like but then it's like asking, 600,000 people what kind of shoes. It's really hard.
Everybody's
So
got a certain
where
brand.
are you off to next?
Where am I off to next? Well, I do have a cruise booked in for my 90th birthday around the Greek islands. I think it starts in Athens and finishes in Istanbul. And then I'm going to take a flight up to Cappadocia and do the hot air balloon ride because I haven't done that yet. So I want to do it. And I was going
Yes.
to do it in New Mexico because I've been to New Mexico and loved it, but I'm not. Well, we're staying away from the States at the moment, so I'm going in a different direction. Plus, I want to get back to Scotland and England and investigate all the little islands around England and
Oh.
Scotland, Shetland Isles and the Orkneys and all of those. So I will probably do that this year.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Yeah,
Mm.
I know by the time this airs, it'll probably be forgotten, but I guess that, everybody's left Santorini because of earthquakes. There's a bunch of earthquakes in the Greek Isles.
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, I've only put a deposit so far. If I think at the time, I've got to pay in June, so I'll see what's happening by that
Hmm.
time. And hopefully I can get my deposit back. I think I can, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, there's other places to go. I mean, BC is absolutely wonderful, and I'd love to go back to the Maritimes and, maybe walk around Prince Edward Island because they've got their own little Camino there. So I'd like to do that.
Oh.
Yeah,
Speaking of Camino, that's on my list this coming year, and I can't do the whole thing,
no.
but I'm gonna do the Saria to Santiago.
Yes, that sounds wonderful. I'd love to do it with a group who have disabilities of some kind so that we can do it very slowly and have a car
Hmm.
following us. I mean, if you walk for an hour and you think I can't do anymore, get in the car and, be driven to the next, I don't know, place that you stay, next inn or whatever it is. And
Well, that's what I'm doing.
yeah,
I'm going with and I actually, the 8-day trip, they have a 11, they can up it to 11 days
yeah.
to accommodate a slower pace. And I'm going to do the slower pace.
Yeah.
I have, I was a triathlete, so my knees
Oh,
don't
wow.
like me.
Oh,
My knees are very unhappy.
yeah.
So,
So do they
um,
let you down when you're walking, or are you
just
okay to do?
sometimes,
Yeah.
if I was going to go more than I could, I've been pretty good on my last few trips. I've
Mm,
gone probably 11 miles a day, just, walking, but not like walking on a path or a hiking path. So I'm training for it, and so I'm just
yeah.
building back up my capacity so
Yeah.
that I can make it. But I don't like a 16-mile day doesn't sound fun to me.
No, no.
10 miles, I could do 10 miles,
Yeah.
sauntering.
Yeah. I think I've done 14. I did a walk in England after my husband died. It was a healing walk, and walked every day and just walked as far as I could. And I think it was about maybe it was 14 kilometers rather than miles. Was the main one I did, the longest one. But I think over the week or 10 days or whatever, I think I did how many kilometers? 400 maybe or something like that. So
Oh, wow.
I
Okay.
came back feeling a little bit healed, because when you're walking, and you've had a loss, then you just gradually putting it behind you with every step. So it's a wonderful way to heal after losing someone.
That is a great idea too.
Yeah.
Well, I can't believe our time is almost up, and I've enjoyed this so much. And
Thank you.
I just admire everything that you've been through and done, and what you're still going to do.
Yeah, it's not over till it's over.
It's
Yeah, I should keep doing it as long as I can. And so far, so good. And
and your
next,
family's very supportive of you,
oh,
so
the
that's
family,
good.
the family tend to think I'm a bit nuts. I was thinking of going to Ecuador, and it's, going through the Amazon, because the only woman running a trip, but it's now been postponed till October. And I told my son, and he said, "Oh my God, do you really want to do that?" And I said, "Yeah, I think that would be quite fun to do that." But they don't see it that way. But
Well, you know what? Like you said, it's not over till it's over, and you might as well just keep going until you can't. That's how I feel about it.
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah,
going to keep going until I can't go anymore.
that's right. And I'll know when that time comes. But
Right.
but at this time in life, you have to listen to your body and take a rest when you need it. So, slower trips are in order. Yeah.
Hmm.
Rather than the hustling ones I used to do in the past, but not anymore. I'm going to take my time now and rest when I need it, and just listen to the body, because it tells you what to do.
Does. You're absolutely right about that. In fact, I'm leading a small group to go to Italy, and
Yeah.
and we were talking about, that the days have a lot going on in them. And I've always been the go, go, go. If I'm going to go travel somewhere, I'm going to fill every minute. The last few trips, I've like, okay, I need to take a little time for myself every few days. I need to take a
Yeah,
little bit of a
I think
break.
it's a good idea to go off season too, because I was in Italy last year and it was so crowded and we all got very sick.
Oh, I hope that does not happen, but I
Uh,
am very worried because
yeah.
when we first planned this, nobody was thinking about the Jubilee, and nobody was thinking about that we're actually going on Easter.
Yes. Yeah.
So but we're going to be in Montecatini and in
Uh-huh.
Florence.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's still going to be very busy, but hopefully, fingers crossed, none of us get sick. Hopefully, I know I mean, still international travel for me. I'm still masking up on the plane.
Oh, absolutely. You should too. And anywhere where there's a huge crowd. I've got sick on the last three trips. In fact, through 23, I had to cancel four trips out of five. And I did manage one trip to North Carolina to see my son, and then I came back and got COVID. And
Mm.
I thought, well, sometimes you just can't win. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to mask up when I go. We're supposed to go
Yeah.
to one of our choirs is having a trip to Japan next year. So I don't know whether I will be able to do that or not. Depends on the degree of activity, but it's not
Mhm.
going to the larger cities. It's going to smaller places to, to sing with local choirs, that kind of thing in nice venues. So I did that in Italy and Malta last year, but boy, we all got really sick.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Well, I have enjoyed this thoroughly, and again, my deepest appreciation for you taking the time to speak with me, and I wish you all the best as you take on whatever comes next.
Okay, thank you so much, Debbie. I'll keep trying. Keep
All
moving.
right, thanks, and we'll let you know when this airs.
Yeah, and I have been sorting all of my photographs out in the garage. I've got so many books, so I'm bringing them all in. So I'll have a few more pictures to send you. I found pictures from past trips that were in albums, and I think you need a picture of Luigi, who I met.
Oh yes.
Oh yes, I just found this, and he's written such a beautiful message on the back. You see? Can you see him? How gorgeous he
Oh
is!
yes, you can.
Isn't he handsome?
Yes.
On the back, he was in San Moritz. He'd gone to a holiday, and he says, I was looking far. My thoughts, I had crossed the mountains, the sea, and was near you, Luigi. Isn't that
Oh
wonderful?
my goodness. Well, no wonder.
Oh, I had a nice time, right? Well, you take
All
good,
right.
Debbie, and thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, you take care, Joy. Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Do you or your loved ones want to continue living at home safely, but are starting to see signs of Parkinson's, dementia, Alzheimer's, maybe it's recent strokes or falls? Having a caregiver at home can be the best way to keep you in home safely. Home Helpers has been providing caregivers for over 25 years. Call us today or join us at Laguna Cafe for free pie and coffee, and we'll answer your questions about caregiving. It's the first Tuesday of every month at 10 a.m., and space goes quickly, so RSVP now.
So I wanted to tell you all about a recent experience that I had with a company called GreetHer. And GreetHer is a great thing. I actually had the CEO, Vanessa, on the show a few months ago. So I decided that I wanted to actually try the service out. So when I went to Montreal, I used a greeter guide, and it was a lovely young woman named Kim who had lived in Montreal for a very long time. And so, what Greeter does is they match you with what they call your bestie in a place where you go that you haven't been before, and you might want to have a guide who knows the area, knows the restaurants, knows what's safe, all of those things. So, Kim met me at my hotel for our 2.5 hours together, and you can hire them for longer than that, but that's the minimum is the two hours together. And so we went. It was a freezing cold day in Montreal, though I felt so bad. We were bundled up like the abominable snowman, and we went out in the city and we did a walking tour and we walked all over. We went down to the cruise port. We went to the old town. We went to Notre Dame. We went all over the city together and she showed me. We even went to the small Chinatown, which was very cute. But because the weather was so bad, a lot of things were shut, which, it was not her fault, of course. But anyway, I have nothing but good things to say about their service. I think for solo women travelers who are going to places that they are not familiar with, this is a great and very affordable way for you to gain some insight into the place that you're traveling to. Whether you have them for 2 hours or 2 days or a week, whatever, they can show you all the sights in their hometown. And what's better than that? So I just wanted to let you know about my experience since Vanessa had been on the show and that it was a very good thing. And I highly recommend that if you want a guide, a one-on-one tour guide wherever you go, Greeter is a wonderful option. For this month's In Our Backyard segment, I traveled to Las Vegas, where my husband and I enjoyed just a few quick days where we packed in just as much as we possibly could, from visiting Fremont Street to dining at the Golden Steer to visiting the conservatory at Bellagio where we stayed, and it was just lovely there, and even walking over to the Sphere, which was incredible. So I highly recommend that you take a quick trip to Las Vegas. Even if you don't gamble, there's a lot to see and do there, and it's an easy, quick trip because Las Vegas is in our backyard. And enjoy, as we end the show, my visit to the Bellagio Conservatory, where they had the Chinese New Year celebration in all of its glory. Just spectacular. That's coming up next.
Technology is always moving forward, and sometimes we need to move with it. If you're a resident of Laguna Woods Village still using a ComLine or FEA email address, it might be time to make the switch. Services like Gmail offer more flexibility and convenience. Access your emails anytime, anywhere, whether you're on your phone, laptop, or tablet. Stay connected no matter where life takes you. Make the switch today and keep your inbox at your fingertips.
Well, thank you for watching. It is such a pleasure to be able to do this show and to enjoy my travels as well as a senior travel adventurer. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me at the information on the screen. And also, if you could please subscribe to my channels, I would so appreciate it. It's at Senior Travel Adventures up on the screen. That's on Instagram, YouTube. I also have a website, seniortraveladventures.net, and I blog regularly there as well. So thanks again for watching.